I think we will get started. Well, welcome everybody to our 3 o'clock session for our Start Omaha Work Week for today. We are featuring at this one the navigating change and how to thrive in an ever-changing world with Jenna Smith. A few quick housekeeping things before we get started. If you do have any questions, if you have them throughout, anytime that Jenna's presenting or at the end, let's make sure to put those questions in the Q&A feature, which should be at the bottom of your Zoom screen. If you have any comments you would like to put in, you can put those in the chat. And again, just a reminder to make sure everybody's being respectful with the comments in the chat, and then questions go in the Q&A. And I believe we will, even if you're thinking of a question in the middle of our Jenna's presentation, pop that in and Jenna will address those questions at the end. This is being recorded, so if for some reason you need to pop out early or you would like to watch again, we are recording this and we'll post this on our Do Space YouTube page later next week. Another reminder, make sure you are heading to our Beanstack page, or Do Space Beanstack page, which is our community engagement platform. There you can mark that you attended this webinar and other webinars throughout the week, which then enters you to win into drawings for prizes. We are giving away 3 gift cards to local small businesses, and then 1 headshot session. So I will make sure to put that link in the chat, which is dospace.beanstack.org. So like I said, we are featuring Jenna Smith. She is here with us from Think Free Consulting, and she will be talking about how to thrive this ever-changing world. So take it away, Jenna.
Thank you so much, Kim, and thank you, Do Space and Start Omaha Work Week, for having me. I'm so thrilled to be here today. I know that it is 3 p.m. in the afternoon, which is a common time to feel like you need to take a nap. I also feel like I need to take a nap sometimes, but that is because for the last 20 months, every night at 2 a.m., my son believes that it's party time. He believes that it's party time. So I live on coffee because he hasn't slept for the past 20 months. That means I have not slept for the past 20 months. And for the record, he is 20 months old. Now, I know that babies are not supposed to sleep at the beginning and there's supposed to be this little adjustment period. But I did not expect it to last 20 months because I was going to be that really cool parent, the one that had researched all of the different things. We researched sleep training, positive parenting, gentle sleep. We had the sleep sack and the swaddle and the bedtime routine down, and we followed it step by step by step by step. At one point, we even got so desperate that we hired a consultant to tell us what to do to get this child to please sleep at night. And yet, with all of that, with hiring the experts, with reading the books, with doing all of the things, we're still wondering, why isn't this working? What is going on? I checked all of the boxes on being a parent, and I know that this type of frustration, this type of what's going on also happens to you. It happens in your life. It happens in your business. It happens when you're getting out grandma's recipe card and you see on that card all of the different weathered notes about how to make her famous cookies just the way she makes them. And you follow the recipe to a T, and yet they still turn out completely inedible. Or how about that time that you got that financial tip from the guru who told you, you know what, if you follow these exact steps, you will be a millionaire in the next 2 years. Or the time when you looked and you looked for the new hire and you hired someone, and in the interview, they were great. They answered the questions right. And then on paper, they looked great. But then when they came in 3 months later, you're wondering, what happened? I followed the process to a T. I did exactly what they said to get a good hire in place, and this is not working. You know what? We've paid people to teach us what to do. We've gotten lists of the right things to do. We've put our energy and our money in doing the right things. We've created organizations around doing the right things and teams and try to get a culture around doing the right things. And then we sit back and we say, okay, we did all of the right things. We changed everything. We changed it so that we would meet success, so we could get to our goal. And we did it all right. It was good. We did exactly what we were supposed to do. and it doesn't work. And that's because just doing the right thing, it's just a good start. It's not enough. How disappointing is that? How disappointing is it that we're setting ourselves up for disappointment because we want to follow that recipe for success. But if there was a recipe for success to get my child to sleep at night, to get to $1 million in your business, to have the perfect team and have the perfect leadership style, whatever it is, then we'd all be rich, healthy millionaires living this amazing life, right? But it's disappointing because we've been sold. Our entire society has been built on this idea that we can have success, all of money, all of relationships. We even have an educational system that says, if I have the right answer, I'm going to get an A and I'm going to be a great student. It's going to prepare me for the real world. You did everything the experts told you to do. And that's frustrating, isn't it? It's frustrating because we've approached it like this recipe, like a list of things to do. But as long as we're doing the right things and checking the results, checking the boxes, we should be successful, but we're not, if it were that easy. So what is it then? What has to happen for us to be able to thrive? What has to happen for us to be able to reach our goals, to be able to do things, to be able to survive a pandemic and thrive in it? What is that thing that we have to be doing? That's what I want to talk to you about today. I want to talk to you about the fact that there is not a checklist to success, unfortunately. But there are some things that we can be doing. And often enough, it has to do with how we think rather than what we do. So today, I am not giving you a list of things to do. I'm not going to give you one big strategy on how to build your business, even though I am a business strategist. I'm simply going to give you some tools to approach change and success a little bit differently, to help you think about them and frame them differently, so you have less frustration about why things aren't working in your business or in your life or whatever it may be. And you can spend less time wandering around wondering why this isn't working and doing all these activities and not getting anywhere. And the reason you'll be able to do that is because we're going to shift your thinking today. So that's what we're going to do. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're along for the ride. So let's go ahead and get started. I think the first thing we need to understand is that, one, we need to stop treating success like it's a list of prescribed activities. We've talked about this. This is what we've just spent the first 8 minutes talking about. But if you can understand this, if you can frame everything that you do off of this idea, that thriving doesn't happen because you check the boxes, then you're going to be much better off to thrive no matter the circumstances. You know, being able to succeed in your business is more about thinking rather than doing. And I know that sounds very weird because we've been told and sold on this culture of hustle and of doing all the hard things and of just making it work and forcing and, being out there and doing all the different things. But truly, when it comes down to it, our thinking shapes our decisions. Doesn't matter if you're in business, if you're in life, if you're working with your finances or your family. Our thinking is shaping our decisions, and it's allowing us to decide what we're worthy of. It's whether or not we'll ask for the raise or think that we actually deserve it. It's gonna help us decide how we'll let people treat us. I know that today, if someone came up to you and spoke to you like they would have 15 years ago, you probably wouldn't think it's acceptable, because we've started to grow in our idea of who we are and what we'll accept in our lives. It's shaping how we lead our teams and our parents and our kids and handle our money. And our thinking is shaping what we need to do when something unexpected happens. So when something unexpected happens, we're thinking, especially in times of growth or change, because unexpected things happen all the time during that mindset, that idea, our thinking is taking the driver's wheel and making all of our decisions and framing all of our actions, because we're wired that way. Our thoughts are shaping our decisions because way back a long time ago, when something unexpected would happen, like a predator coming to take our food or eat us, we would say, okay, I need to either run or I need to fight fight or flight, right? But we don't have that anymore. We don't have to have that thing. So now all of a sudden our brain is still wired the same way. We are still making decisions based off of fight or flight, of whether we need to do something or run. And in that sense, our thoughts are still shaping our decisions, especially in these times of growth and change. And they're interpreting situations and they're telling us, our thoughts are telling us how to feel, react, and act. So everyone at some point in their life or business has had something unexpected happen. Someone said something that hurt you, a client just up and left, you lost a job. That's really unexpected. You made a huge mistake and people were depending on you. I hate when that happens, don't you? Maybe something nice of your parents broke. You broke it. Or you lost money. You lost a lot of money in the stock market. Or even when your child talks back to you. Those are all things that are unexpected that can happen, and they happen every day. After the initial shock of that moment, what was your response? Your response after that initial shock was probably to do something. You lost a job, you're going to go out and there get a job. If there was a problem in your business, you were going to get the team together and solve it right away and get something together before the leader said, hey, by the way, what's the plan? You were going to make sure that all the bases were covered, right? You wanted to do something because it's wired in us to want to do something, to fix things. In that moment, our adrenaline has risen. We're thinking about, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? This is so bad. It's so, it's unexpected, and everything around you closes in. And in all the frenzy, all the chatter going on, and all the pressure to react, we feel that we have to do something because we need to fix it, and because doing something means that we will feel in control. But like I said, doing something that'll get you somewhere. You'll take some steps. You'll do some things, maybe right, maybe wrong. It could be a good start. It could be a good start to solving a problem. But more often than not, when a problem arises in your business, when a problem arises on a team, we go and rush to try to fix things and do things. And it also means that we're doing a lot of things that don't necessarily need to be done because we're being reactive. We're being reactionary. And it creates a lot of unstrategic, repetitive, reactive work that is just plain exhausting. Have you ever had things happen over and over and over again? It's like a fire drill after a fire drill after a fire drill. And you're just continuing to do damage control. One problem pops up and you're doing damage control over here. One problem pops up and I'm doing damage control over here. And that happens. It happens. Things happen in our business. They happen in our life. But when a situation happens, you have a choice. You can react or respond. So what do you do when a situation comes into your purview? What are you doing? Are you just going and trying to fix it? Are you trying to do something? Because reacting is never productive. It leads to all of that extra work. It leads to just this state of survival, of trying to get through it until the next thing comes, of waiting until the next shoe drops. And that's not a way to thrive. You can't thrive in that kind of situation. Instead, you need to focus on responding. Before I do that, I want to give an example of reacting. I'd like you to think, I know a lot of you are probably parents, or you are a brother or a sister, you're an aunt or an uncle. When a younger child, or when your spouse, your spouse, when your spouse or significant other or someone says to you, you need to calm down, and you're in a heated conversation, what is the one thing that you want to do? You do not want to calm down. You want to show them how to calm down, right? You want to show them what calm down really means. But that is a reaction that does not lead to a positive conversation. It doesn't lead to anything getting better. In fact, it only escalates the situation. Reacting is born out of this emotional response that we have, and we think that we can just it's going to make things better, but it's really just this thing that lurches out of us and wants to do something because we feel. But instead, we need to be responding. This is what it looks like, by the way, when you're just reacting. You're going from problem to problem to problem and trying to pull poke in all your finger in all of the holes of the ship just to hold on. And you can't thrive in that. There's no way you can thrive in that. But there is a way that you can actually do better. That there's a way that you can think your way out of this situation so that you can thrive, so your business can grow, so your employees can do what they need to do, and so that you can lead a life that's less stressful, even when things necessarily aren't going your way. You can stop, you can take a breath, you can think, and then you can respond. This is called responding. It's when something happens unexpected, when change happens, when a pandemic happens, when something's going on, everybody is always reacting. The news is reacting, your friends are reacting, your team is reacting, whatever the situation is. Doesn't even have to be the pandemic, it could be all the other things. Everybody is pressing for you to react. But the wise people, the people who thrive, the people who live in this place where things don't bother them, where they're able to continue to see above the weeds and above all of the stuff going on, they stop, they take a breath, they look at it from a higher perspective, and they respond. And that's really what purposeful action is. If you were to do anything in your business, if you were to leave with anything today, it's that purposeful action is key to you being able to thrive in your organization, to be able to thrive in starting up your business. Purposeful action is not reactionary. It's not just trying to plug all the holes. It's not doing all those things. It's the ability to think and see above what is going on in your business or in the world. It's the ability to take 100% ownership of what you can control. You can't control the other things, but you can control what you can. And it's the ability to focus on what matters, not all the other stuff, not the stuff that people are telling you to do, but by doing those things, by taking purposeful action, you're able, and doing those three things, you're able to then do things that matter. You're able to have success in your business despite what's going on in the world. You're able to have peace even when things are crazy, because you're able to focus on what makes sense, what aligns with your mission, what aligns with your vision, what aligns with your values, rather than responding. Purposeful action is the key to be able to thrive no matter the climate, and it has everything to do with how you think and approach problems and how you interpret your surroundings. So if you can shift this, you can thrive no matter the situation. I can't tell you the number of people I've talked to in the past 6 months, a lot of whom use speaking or connecting with people, networking, as ways for them to create more leads and more business for their business. And one of the saddest things I've heard, and I'm completely aware of all of the hardships of the pandemic, that is not lost on me at all. So please do not think that. But one of the hardest things that I've heard is people say, I haven't been able to get out of this. And like, the way I did business is gone. And that's true. The way that people have done business has shifted, it has changed. But what I've been able to tell them is, did you know that most things moved on to Zoom? Like, there are 8,000 meetings a day in America during the work week that needs speakers. There are 8,000 there's thousands of networking meetings where you can not only connect with people in your area, but you can connect with people all over the world. If you knew that, that would shift everything. If you could get above what was going on, you could see all of the opportunity that's available too. The industry that I'm in, the professional services, the coaching, the consulting industry is booming because we are no longer trapped by a geographical location. If you can focus on what matters, if you can see above the trees in any situation, you can also see how you can leverage things for your own success. Despite the hardships, despite what's going on. And yes, of course, people will have hurdles, but if you can see it, you can be able to do something about it. And that's why being able to respond is so important. Right now, we're seeing a disruption everywhere, but I'd like to show you this. Microsoft, Netflix, Airbnb, FedEx, Uber, WhatsApp, what do all of these have in common? These were all born during times of disruption, of huge change, of recession. Huge companies, not to mention that public health measures were improved during a lot of pandemics. societal things like help with the poor, all of those things, inventions, those were all things born out of hard places where there was lots of disruption. Because when there's constraints, there's also the ability to look above and say, ooh, where's the open door? Where's the opportunity? What's the good? Where can we find good in this despite there being a whole lot of bad? Not negating it, just trying to figure out how I can move into something good, and what can I do to do that. So right now we're seeing a whole lot of disruption everywhere. Change is happening every day. But one of the areas I think that's the most interesting is the real estate market. You may not be aware, but everywhere there are people posting on message boards trying to find houses. And there are more agents, more real estate agents right now than there are houses on the market. And that is crazy. That means there's low inventory, quick decisions, they're wanting to buy. And that means that customer expectations have shifted. They're not taking 5 days to think about it, they're taking 5 seconds to think about it. And I was able to experience this hands-on with my own home building purchase. My husband and I, we went and we wanted to go look to see if we could build a home. We went and talked to a builder on a site. We found a site we loved, and we talked to them. We went through the process. They had kind of expected what questions we'd ask. He gave us his phone number. There was a website. There were videos. It was all these things. So we went home, we digested the information, and then we also contacted one other builder because we wanted to see what they could do for us as well. And the days ticked by over the weekend, 1 day, 2 day, 3 days, 4 days. And during that time, we decided to go with the home builder who had kind of answered all of our questions and things. And we had heard radio silence from the other one. So then on Monday, the builder gets back to us, the non-responsive one, and says, hey, by the way, I'm happy to help you. Here's my number. Give me a call. I'd emailed him. And I had to respond back and say, thanks, but in the time we were waiting for you to get back to us, we went with this other builder. Our expectations had changed. We were expecting that he would get back to us right away because this is the market that we're living in. And so the business strategist in me had to ask the question, have you ever considered making sure that there's someone watching your email during peak times, because the weekend is the time when home buyers come out? And his response was, no, I just checked out for the weekend, but thanks. And I hope you have a good home buying process. I turned to my husband and I said to him, that was a $30,000 email. He stood, if he had just responded or had a process in place, if he had expected that his customers' expectations had changed in this whole time of huge disruption, of huge demand in the industry, if he had been intentional about that rather than just checking the box of saying, I have a website, I have an email, people can get a hold of me, and he took the time to understand his customer needs, he would have been able to have a $30,000 purchase. But not just one, because I'm willing to bet that he also had a number of other inquiries over the weekend. You see, if you are waiting for things to change before you change, you are late to the party. You're way late to the party. And if you're checking things off the list, you're going to miss customer expectations. And the reason that you're in business, the reason you're starting a business, the reason that you have teams working for you in a business is because you're there to serve customers. And if you have customers, then you also need to be able to understand how their expectations have changed, what's changed in the environment, why, and what's happening, and be able to be flexible in your business enough to make those changes before someone has to ask, before the $30,000 times however many people asked are coming through. But instead, his email said, I didn't understand that the customer experience and expectations had changed. Did you know that 86% of customers will pay more for a better customer experience? They're looking for someone who perceives what their needs are, is able to answer them fast, and is able to do it in a way that makes them feel good. So if we could talk about change in any part of your organization, that's the part I'd focus on right now, because I think that that's the part that's changing the most. But the key here is that if you have waited for change to happen to you, you're going to be behind. We have to be in a growth mindset in our business at all times. We need to always be thinking about how to improve the customer experience, how to serve our employees better, how to improve our processes and streamline them so they're more efficient. Those are not just things that you set a project and a date to look at on your strategic plan or in your business plan and think that this is just, what you need to do every so often, right? This is an everyday situation. And I'm not saying that you have to go and do a bunch of things, but that you need to start framing your thinking around how can we improve daily in every sphere of our business? How can I do it in a way that's going to serve people better? And how can I look for the possibilities that are coming up rather than being stuck in what is right now? Because if you're stuck in what is right now, you will be left behind. If you're successful today, congrats. You've made it to this today. But tomorrow, it's another day. It's going to take something completely different. And if you want to grow in during change, especially, it's going to take something completely different than what's happening today. So do your team and do you have the mindset necessary to grow daily? Are you thinking about not checking things off the list, but about evolving them and always improving in every sphere? Or even just one sphere, the spheres that matter at the moment. When you were a child, it would have been ridiculous for your parents to say, by the way, you're going to wear the size 3T, clothes for the rest of your life. But that's what we do in business. We expect that our processes, our teams, the way we do things, the way we serve customers, what our offers are, our marketing plan can just be the same old, same old. They have to get better. If you want to thrive through change, you need to embrace that the businesses that win are proactively changing. Okay, I know that's a lot, and you're probably thinking, I already had 100 things on my to-do list. I also want to be able to take a vacation. And I want to talk to you now about vacations because everybody is thinking about what is it going to take? Where am I going to go on vacation? Am I going to the beach? Am I going to the desert? France just opened up. Are we going to France after we're vaccinated or whatever, right? And I have come to have a few theories about vacationers after spending many vacations with family and friends. There are two types of vacationers. There are the wing-its. They're the people to who vacation is a journey. It's exciting. They're going to figure things out as they go. They're going to go with the flow. They have no plan for the day. They're just going to wander through the streets and experience all these amazing things, all these amazing experiences, and go home and sleep, maybe eat somewhere. It's probably going to be good. It might not be, but we'll just figure it out. You can point to yourself if that's you. Then there are the planners. The planners, when you say, let's go on vacation, have already rolled out their templated spreadsheet with all of the different itinerary things that they want to do. They have the research of where to go and what makes sense and what order to go there. They have all of the different restaurants and the best restaurants to go to and the best places to visit and the opening times, and they will schedule you down to a T on what is happening on the vacation. Meanwhile, if you live with a wing-it or the person it's just a journey, you're going to find yourself walking through the streets of a city, spending an extra 15,000 steps just trying to go up a hill when you could have gotten an Uber and figured this out much, much quicker. So they both have positives and negatives. I think that people are a little bit of both, but we all know someone who's on one extreme or the other. And going on vacation with them can be a little bit stressful sometimes for very different reasons. But we can all learn a thing from our vacation buddies. We can all learn something about their attitude when it comes to approaching vacations if we apply it to business as well. When change is happening, first of all, we have to stop treating it like a project. Change is not a light switch. It's not we're starting this project and then, we're turning it off. So now the change is done. It's an ever evolving process. It is a journey. In that sense, we need to be more like the wingets, the people who just treat the vacation like an exploration, right? They know and they want to experience all the things. They're looking for all the positives. They're just wanting to see where it goes. And we need to have that kind of curiosity when it comes to change in our organizations and in our business and in our life. But we also need to be able to ask the right questions like the planners. We need to be able to ask the questions like, where am I? Without the planners, the wingets would go on vacation and they'd say that they're going on vacation, but they'd have no plane tickets. They'd have no way of, no one's picking them up at the airport. And by the way, they probably also packed the wrong clothes. But the planners are asking questions like, where am I today? What's happening around me? Can I be realistic about what my budget is? Can I be realistic about what my results are today and why that matters? Because if I understand that, then I understand how to build the right vacation or the right business. They're asking questions like, where do I want to go? Where's the best place for me to go right now? And in times of change, they're the person that's also might ask, where do we need to go right now? Where do we have to go to stop the bleeding? And that's okay too. They're also the person who's going to ask, what is it going to take for me to get there? What is it going to take for me to get from where I am in Omaha, Nebraska to Disney World? What is it going to take for me to get to Scottsdale, Arizona, or Europe, or wherever the destination may be that I defined? Is it going to take me having to think differently? If I'm building my business, does that mean that I need to be able to think more like a CEO rather than a solopreneur? Does it mean that I'm going to have to start treating my finances differently? Does it mean that I'm going to have to budget for things? I'm going to have to think through what my process looks like for things. Am I going to have to plan for if there's a lot of disruption and change going on? Am I going to have to plan that into my budget? Those are the types of questions that they're asking. Where am I? Where do I want to go? And what's it going to take for me to get there? And despite every situation, it doesn't matter what situation you're in, if you can stop, think, and then respond and answer these questions, you are more likely to take purposeful action than just going and doing something, than just going and trying to plug the holes. It's going to take some truly different thinking to be able to thrive through change rather than react to change and be in survival mode. And it starts with these 3 questions. Change, it's happening every day. I wish that we could say, after the pandemic, after this is all over and clears up, that it's not going to change, but change is only speeding up. The speed of technology, the customer expectations, employee expectations, your ability to reach different marketplaces, everything's changing, and that's good. It means that there's more opportunities. It means that there's more ability to help more people. It means that we can have some advancements in a lot of different sectors that really need some advancement. And it means that we're able to deliver those solutions if we ask the right questions. But I also understand that it can mean that it means a lot of work to some people. To some people, when change happens, they feel like they have to read all the books. They feel like they need to do all the right steps. They feel like they need to plug all the holes because they're in survival mode. They feel like they're running on the hamster wheel. Like they're just going to go from problem to problem to problem, but they're unaware that they're doing it. So the benefit of you listening here today is the fact that you are now aware. You're aware. And if you listen to what I'm saying, that you can stop, react, or stop, think, and then respond rather than react, that you can take purposeful action, that you're able to think strategically and start to create plans based off of not only what's going on, but what you truly want, then you're able to leverage change to thrive in your business and in your life and in your world. We're sitting at an opportune time where you're able to do that. But even if it wasn't this time, you always have the opportunity to be able to do this, to shift your thinking, to be able to take purposeful action in your business and in your life so that you don't have to be this person on the treadmill, so that you don't have to wander around thinking, why isn't this working? Why won't my son sleep at night? Why won't my business grow? Why won't my team just get on board with the change? You don't have to feel like you're on the hamster wheel anymore. Change doesn't have to feel hard. It is only hard if we set our expectations to believe that it's like a checklist of success. If we set our expectations to believe that things are just happening to us and we can't be proactive about changing things in our life and in our business. Change is only hard if we're not thinking and asking the right questions. So if you can ask the right questions in your business, if you can ask the right questions with your team, then you are able to thrive and think your way through any change, any situation, and be able to transform into something bigger and better than where you are today. So my only last question for you is this: what is your strategy to change and grow your business? If you have one or you don't have one, I'm happy to be a resource to you. I just put this up here. There is no sales or anything involved with that, but if you want to just book a call with me because you're changing something in your business, you're growing, you're changing, you're just trying to figure out what's going on, I'm happy to be a resource. You can go to www.callwithjenna.com and we'll help you to get back on track. I'm Jenna Smith. I own Think Free Consulting. We help businesses and leaders to be able to do their best thinking, changing, and growing, whether you're a startup to a multi-million-dollar business. And I'm happy to be here. Thank you so much. And I will take questions now. So are there any questions from the audience?
I'm not seeing any right now, Jenna. I'll give everybody maybe a little bit just to get any questions in if you have them. Thank you so much for that. That was very, very interesting. I love listening to you about this. Just for a reminder for our group that's in, this is getting recorded. So if you came in late or you would like to watch it again, it will be on our YouTube channel, our Do Space YouTube channel, and make sure you're heading to our Beanstack, dospace.beanstack.org to mark that you have attended this program and other programs that you might be wanting to see throughout the week to enter in some really great drawing surprises. So well, I'm not seeing anything in the Q&A or in the chat. So yeah, if you think of something, maybe note down Jenna's email and make sure that you get hold of her if you have any further questions about this. So otherwise, I'm going to say thank you, Jenna, for joining us this week for Start Omaha Work Week. And make sure you tune into our 5 o'clock session, which unfortunately I do not have in front of me right now. Really quick. Oh, what is our 5 o'clock session? Give me a second. It is critical steps to building company culture while growing your startup. So if that is something you'd be interested in, be sure to join us for at 5 o'clock. Well, thank you everybody for joining us today, and we will see you at the next webinar. Have a good day.